and peace. What's going on? Rob Blackstorm here. What I want to talk about today is I want to talk about wiring or firing and rewiring the brain. And the reason I want to talk about this subject is the more I study, the more I look into things, the more I realize that what's really toyed with is not so much our thoughts. It's not so much what we think. It's more so our emotions, or our emotional connection to things, our emotional connection to events, our emotional connection to people, our emotional connection to celebrities. And because we have this emotional connection to these the various things, right, we are becoming victims and victimized without even knowing it. I was rewatching The Matrix, and The Matrix, when Neo first got unplugged, Morpheus told Neo that Neo asked Morpheus, what's real? And Morpheus told Neo that what's real is nothing more than electrical signals that are interpreted by your brain. So these electrical signals, when we talk about electricity, what are we talking about? We're talking about power. Electricity is power, or electrical signals are power. And what is power within us? When we talk about power, we're talking about an emotion. When something is powerful, we could feel it. When someone is powerful, we could feel that as well. It's an actual feeling, right? And let's look at the main power source in capitalist America. The main power source is currency. It's called currency. We call it money, but it's called currency because money has a current. It has an electricity to it. It has power to it. It has emotion in it. And you could prove that easily by when that direct deposit hits, don't you feel happy? When you get paid, don't you feel happy? If you win some money off a scratch off or a lotto, don't you feel happy? If someone gives you money, cash out, for a service or PayPal or whatever method they use to pay for something that you have to offer, you feel good about it. There's a good energy behind it. So, and if you look at money, the color of money is green. If you look at the color green corresponds to the heart chakra, but it also corresponds to the deity we call Oshun, or what the Cometians would call Het Heru. All the same green. Also, Osiris or Osir was the color green. So green and the heart chakra corresponds to currency. Now, when we deal with Osiris or Osir, we're dealing with the third eye, or the pineal gland being open, meaning that we are taking in information or downloads from the environment or from the universe, because we are the universe. We're made of every element in the universe. We are made of stardust. We are people from the stars. So when we talk about the brain firing, the brain fires based off emotion. So what emotions are leading us right now, especially us in the black community? We got Bill Cosby. We got Michael Jackson. We got Malik Yoba. We got Tank. We got Pharrell. We got police brutality. We have negative imagery of us in these reality shows. We have negative environments that we live in, the hood, right? Where people are scheming, scamming, taking advantage of each other, getting over on each other. This is the currency that the black community is operating off of. Celebrity worship, what Cardi B's doing, what this celebrity's doing, what that celebrity's doing, and we let these things, and a lot of these things have nothing to do with us at all, personally. If someone is getting shot by an officer, it affects the collective, the black community collectively. And yes, you feel something when these things happen, because we're empathetic to the situations. We're putting ourselves in the shoes of the person who got shot by the police officer. But in reality, personally, when it comes to you as the individual, that's not your problem. So your emotions or your ties, because emotions is a connection, it's a current, right? So it ties you to the thing that you're emotional about. So the emotions of the situation should not affect you personally whatsoever. The emotions of the situation should not move you. You should see it, you should feel it, but then go back into a state of peace and go about to a state of recharging yourself for your highest self, or your highest behavior, or your highest character, or your highest manifestation of what you want to be and what you want to achieve in this world, or what your purpose is. Because we're all trying to get to the point where we are living our purpose, or living the reason why we're here on earth. And the best way to find that, again, is through your emotions, through those electrical signals that stimulate your brain, through your current. Because we live in a holographic universe, which is basically what Morpheus was telling Neo by saying what's real is only the electrical signals that are interpreted by your brain. That's how we know what's real. When we touch something, we have a feeling. When we hear something, there's a feeling. When we see something, there's a feeling that corresponds. When we are around people, there's a feeling, there's an energy. When we are in situations, there's a feeling, there's an energy. So it's the same thing that media does through commercialism, right? When they're selling us a product like Charmin, the commercial might be funny, it has humor in it. That's to tie in your emotions. When we're looking at a TV show and they have a product in the TV show, it's meant to stimulate our emotions. And when our emotions are stimulated, it bypasses the conscious mind. See, a lot of times we're taught positive thinking. So we're taught affirmations, we're taught mantras, we're taught to say a certain affirmation, we're taught to say a certain mantra. And when we do both of those things, that we will achieve what our goals are. But the purpose of us even being involved in spirituality or magic is to say what we want and what we want manifest. So if I say I want to stop smoking, or I want to lose weight, or I want to become a better speaker or become a better leader, if I say these things, that these things should manifest. But we know it doesn't work like that. You say, oh, I want to lose weight, but then you got a slice of cake at 10:55 p.m. at night, and you know you want to lose weight. But you know if you eat that cake, it's going to be sitting in your stomach and you're going to gain weight, right? Now, these things have emotional value. We might be eating because that's the way we coped with stress in the past. So that's been our coping mechanism. The same with smoking. We stressed out, our coping mechanism is to go smoke, whether it's cigarettes or weed. Our coping mechanism to deal with problems might be to, punch a wall or break something, right? These are the ways that we respond emotionally to situations. And this is the way we're manipulated through society, through our emotions. When you see something on Facebook, such as the Amber Gaia trial, and we see that this boy was hugging the murderer of his brother, it sparks an emotion in you. Now the thing is, are you going to hold on to that emotion, or are you going to let that emotion anger you? Because when you let the emotion of a tragedy impact you, what you're doing is putting yourself in fight or flight. When you put yourself in fight or flight, there's a hormone that secretes. That hormone is called cortisol. Cortisol basically weakens you intellectually and puts you in an animalistic state. It puts you in the state of being prepared to protect yourself from danger. Now, what happens when you're scrolling through your news media or your feed on Facebook or Instagram, and you run across these stories, you run across certain images, There's people who have images of black people hanging and saying never forget. These images are necessary. For instance, I was watching Watchmen. Watchmen had the Tulsa riots, or the Tulsa massacre, Black Wall Street of 1921. It impacted me emotionally. I felt it. Matter of fact, I watched it probably, which I shouldn't have done. I watched it before bed. And I remember waking up the next morning with an odd feeling, a feeling of just feeling down. And then I traced it back. I was like, oh, it's because I watched Watchmen. I felt the tragedy of my ancestors being shot in the way that they were feeling shot. Now, what I realized is that I had to change my vibration. I had to change my current. I had to change my heart chakra. And I had to revolt, right? Revolt myself and recharge myself in a different direction. So immediately I meditated. Once I realized that, I meditated for about 15 minutes, listened to some music that was uplifting, music that was inspiring, music that made me feel good in order to change my emotional resonance. Because it's not about what we say. It's not about the words that we use. It's about how we feel about what we say. It's about how we feel about the words we use. It's about how we feel about the images that we see. Because our brain is just a processor. Our brain is not the mind. The mind is all. Everything is the mind. The universe is mental. Everything exists within the mind. So the mind is everything. But our response is what matters. Our mind takes in the information. But how we process the information is how we will go through our day, or how we will live our life. And it's very important, because if our emotions are tied into the wrong thing, if they're tied into negativity, they're tied into negative stories, they're tied into trauma, then what happens is you have in your brain a neural pathway, and that neural pathway responds to repetition. So if you're repetitiously looking at tragedy, you're repetitiously looking at bad news stories, you're repetitiously around people that don't benefit you, you're repetitiously around an environment that doesn't serve your greater good, then when things happen, you literally magnetically attracted that to yourself based on your perception, based on the emotions that you've attached to that current. Now, the more that you pay attention to your own current, the more that you focus on your own energy, is the quicker you recharge yourself. It's the quickest way to manifest what you want to be. When we go to the movies, we go to the movie theater, right? But the movie theater, the word theater, comes from theta, which is a wave, a brain wave. And a theta brain wave is the wave of hypnosis. It's also the same wave of your brain that's engaged when you're meditating. Because when you're meditating, it's literally a self-hypnosis, and you're reprogramming yourself. So when you go to the movies, or when you watch a movie, or when you watch a show, it's literally putting you in theta wave for hypnosis. That's why it's called a theta. It's a theta. So it's putting you in hypnosis. So this affects your mood. This affects your energy. This affects your energetic output. And the more negativity, the more things that you watch that don't serve you, the more things that you take in as just entertainment, right? It's entertaining. It's entering you. So it becomes part of you. So you constantly have to be aware of what you're putting into yourself, and not just what you're putting in, the emotions. So in order to fire and rewire your brain, you have to notice how you react emotionally to things. What's your emotions to a person? What's your emotion to a person of another race? What's your emotion to a situation? What's your emotions behind how you view yourself? What's your emotions when you look in the mirror? What's your emotions when you look in your life? Your room, your home should reflect a temple of your best self. Just like Kemet. If you look around Kemet, there's pyramids, there's structures, there's art, there's hieroglyphs, there's all sorts of things to remind you that you are a god and to remind you of your godhood. When you look around America, you don't see that. But you do see temples to white supremacy. You do see temples that are to America's well-being. You do see structures that support capitalism. All these things are occurring. All these things are backed by emotion. And just like in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus told Neo that the Matrix is designed to use you as a battery, and then you die. Your battery emits a current. A current or energy wave is an emotion. That emotion, being that we are electromagnetic beings, that emotion is going to attract things to you. It's going to attract opportunity, or it's going to attract loss. If you keep thinking that the world is bad, you keep thinking that things are fucked up for you, you keep thinking that you're going to have a bad day, you keep thinking that you can't find love, then those things will attract to you magnetically because you're an electromagnetic being. And science has already confirmed that the electromagnetic frequency of the earth beats like a drum. If you study science or look at a scientific article, you'll see that the electromagnetic frequency of the earth is like a drum. So what is the drum in your body? Is the drum in your body not your heart? So if you want love, what should you be doing? You should be loving. You should be showing love to people, showing love to your family, showing love to people in your community, showing love to your co-workers, regardless of how they are. This doesn't mean being a pushover, but this means that you are always leading with love. And love means defending yourself. Love also means standing up for yourself. Love also means not taking shit. This is your heart chakra. This is the drum within. If you had an issue with a man or a woman in the past, then you have to recharge yourself or revolt or have an inner revolution. Remember, revolt is in revolution. So you're revolt. A volt is a charge. So you're recharging yourself now with a different frequency, a different energy, and you're doing it repetitiously, just like how you learn anything. You learn your ABCs through repetition. You learn your multiplication table through repetition. So it's the same thing that you have to do daily to overcome your self-limitations. So now when you say, I want to no longer eat, I want to get on a diet, I want to no longer eat a certain thing. Now every day, through meditation and through your daydreams and through your daily life, you feel the emotions. You start, instead of the emotions of feeling good about eating the cake, now the emotions are going to feel good about you not eating the cake. The emotions and the smiles and your visions will be of you on your diet. The smile might be you in the gym, or the smile may be of you walking. The smile may be of you on the treadmill, right? The smile that you have within is of you achieving your goals. You want to start smoking cigarettes. The smile within is going to be you not smoking cigarettes. The smile is going to be of you avoiding going to the store for a Lucy or for a pack. Now you're recharging your energy. Now you're changing your physiology. Now, instead of the chemical compound being cortisol and being negative, now the chemical compound is positive. You're getting that dopamine, you're getting that oxytocin. And now you're able to change your physiology, which is changing your mentality and also going to change your actions. And once that happens, you're starting to rewire your brain. You're building new connections. You're building a new neural pathway. Now you're connecting the left and the right brain according to what you want, and you're not being programmed by the events of the world that are ever changing daily and that are designed to trip you up and take your focus away from you becoming your best and highest self. So let's start using our emotions for our benefit. Let's start using our emotions for our higher good. And let's stop being manipulated by the emotions of the matrix and the emotions of the outside world. Because that's really the goal. The goal is to have your emotions in a constant state of flux. You're angry and sad and upset all the time. You're depressed all the time. You have to start taking in information. You have to start feeding your mind and feeding your soul, which corresponds to your heart. You have to start feeding your soul the things that you want and the change that you want to see in your life. And once you start harnessing these thoughts and these ideas and these affirmations and these mantras and these visualizations with positive emotion, it'll change your body. You'll start to see clues, like Morpheus told like they told Neo, follow the white rabbit. You'll start to see these little white rabbits, which are clues on which direction you should go to. Clues that's going to take you to your manifestation or the things that you desire. Little rabbits of ideas, downloads, visions, steps, people that are put in this universe to help you master you and help you get to where you want to get to and achieve the things that you want to achieve and follow your life's purpose. And if you don't know what your life purpose is, look to your emotions. What makes you happy? What is the one thing you would do if there was no money and you had to be assigned a task? What's the one thing in life that makes you happy, that you are fully engrossed in, that makes you feel like you could conquer the world, that makes you feel great inside, that makes you feel happy inside, right? Figure out how you can monetize that, and that is your life's purpose. And once you go towards your life's purpose, things will start moving fast for you. Fire and rewire the brain. Peace, power, and prosperity. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Rob Blackstorm, I'm out.